Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2020. I mean, I knew I'd reach this point, right? I'm only 30 years old, but it's still weird to write. It kind of feels like we're in the future for the first time since 2000, at least for me. Like, 2000 was a big deal, and now it's 2020, and that, for some reason, feels like a big deal. Anyhow, it's a big year for gaming because 2 new consoles, at least, are coming out. We got Xbox Series X and we've got PlayStation 5, and I haven't had a chance really to talk about either of them, so I want to cover a few of the rumors / big things going on right now in the news with PlayStation 5 and give you my take. I want to know in the comments down below, which console are you more excited for? Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5? Now, we know a little bit more about Xbox Series X, including what it looks like, and a couple of games. We know one game for PS5, but we don't even know what the box looks like. Godfall is like the only information we have on PS5, and you've got those Wired articles where they talk about how the controller with that haptic feedback is crazy. You can feel the gravel, the dirt, the sludge on your fingertips, which to me is probably the most exciting thing. Graphics are great and they're going to improve, but we've seen some very beautiful games. It's that feedback on the controller, the DualShock 5, that I'm insanely excited to see how it materializes and how it affects games. Anyhow, here's what we've got going on. The PlayStation 5 hasn't been revealed, so it's got to be shown off at some point, and there's a lot of discussion and debate about how they're going to do this. Will Sony return to E3? They took 2018 off. It was a little awkward. It was the emptiest E3 I've ever been to, and definitely one of the slower E3s in the history of the show. Will Sony return? Well, that seems a little interesting, but we'll get to that later. First off, we've got Hip Hop Gamer saying that PlayStation 5 has this huge backwards compatibility where it has backwards compatibility with PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4. It's a remastering engine that allows all these titles to run on the console with various enhancements. Now, they say it'll work similarly to how Xbox One X handles backwards compatibility, adding like 4K support or things of that sort. Adding 4K graphical enhancements to that old of games, I don't know. I mean, I'm more about the new games. Granted, backwards compatibility is a great add, and having it all in there would be fantastic. I don't know. It's Hip Hop Gamer. I mean, he's definitely a dude that has a lot of notoriety and a lot of connections, but I don't know that I want to take this at full face value, given that Sony has said nothing about this. I don't know how he would know it, but let's say he does know it. Okay, cool. So it's able to run these games kind of like the Xbox One X. I feel like that's an expected thing. So I wonder if this is almost more of an educated guess saying like, oh, of course Sony is going to have backwards compatibility. They have an insane library and lineup. PlayStation 4 in particular, PS2 in particular, add in 3 in 1, give it the whole catalog, and you do wonders. Now, how easy it is versus how Xbox has had to add the titles over time, what kind of enhancements, which games have enhancements, I don't know. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm just not a big backwards compatibility person. I know a lot of people are, but I hold on to my consoles. I hold on to my PlayStation 1 that my mom got me for Christmas way back when. I hold on to my PS2, my big PS3, my collection of limited edition PS4. I'm just the person that's going to keep that stuff. So if I ever want to go back and play Horizon Zero Dawn, or ever want to go back and play Crash Bandicoot, or ever want to go back and play Croc Legend of the Gobos, or I want to go back and play God of War 3, I have the systems to do so. I would take this with a grain of salt. But I also think that PS5 is going to have a lot of backwards compatibility. Now, the bigger and to me more exciting rumor right now is about February and PlayStation 5. Marcus Sellers is, I think, probably the main person talking about this right now, saying PS5 reveal will be in February, which will showcase the specifications of the console as well as upcoming games to be released on the platform. Now, if you know the man with the Falco avatar, you'll know that he's a good dude, but that he has a very roller coaster track record. I mean, lately he's been tweeting things about Metroid Prime 4, which I absolutely 0% of me believes is coming this year. He said stuff about Call of Duty coming to Switch, and that has never happened. He's been correct about a few things, so who knows. I wonder if Marcus is pulling this information from a news source, or if he's pulling it from leaks from last year. Back in August of 2019, a slide from a marketing email apparently leaked talking about this PlayStation Meeting 2020 that would reveal PS5 on February 12th. So I don't know if this is a chicken or egg type scenario, but it seems that Marcus may be resurfacing this rumor and information from 6 months ago. Supposedly, according to this marketing email, They would be showing off the PlayStation 5. They would be getting Activision, Ubisoft, and EA on board, showing off new games, talking about the specs, giving the price and the date of holiday 2020. The kicker is that they say that they'd be talking about Ghost of Tsushima and how it'd be a PlayStation 5 launch title. Now, unless PlayStation 5 is going to shock the world and come out in the summer, Sony has already basically confirmed that Ghost of Tsushima is going to launch on PlayStation 4. Now, it could also launch on PS5, and this is the third kind of rumor / topic that I want to talk about. How many of PS5 and Xbox Series X launch games are going to just be boosted versions of popular titles that release in 2020? But on this February note, I don't know that February is wrong. I also don't know that it is right. I absolutely believe, in my opinion, that Sony will unveil the PS5 before E3. Look at it this way. Xbox Series X is unveiled, well, originally Scarlet is unveiled at E3 2018. Now, Sony has said they're working on their next-gen console, and they have those articles with Wired, and they've slowly sent out some information, but nothing big, bombastic, and official. Nothing like the Scarlet trailer from last E3, and definitely nothing like the Xbox Series X trailer and unveiling at the Game Awards 2019. I do not believe that Sony wants to let Microsoft have 6 months to a year of a full lead where their product is out there and Sony's is not. If these things are going to launch in holiday 2020, which they are, revealing at E3 would then give about 5 months between revealing the console, some of the games, the specs, maybe even the price, and launch. Now, in 2020, is that possible? Is that doable? Absolutely. But is that good? And is that what a company wants to bank the next 5 to 10 years of their gaming sector on? Just 5 months of marketing? I think that you want to get out much earlier. I think that Microsoft is already out there, and that plays a role. I think they've shown their hand, and now Sony is in a way forced to show theirs. I don't think you want Xbox Series X being the only next-gen console for 6 months. Now, everyone does know that PS5 is coming, but without anything visual, without anything out there to tweet and retweet and post about and get excited about, Microsoft wins by default, the mindshare battle. I think Sony will want to get out ahead. Now, GDC is in March. It's mid-March, March 16th to March 20th. And I point that out because I wonder if Sony would love to have the PS5 out there and officially unveiled by GDC so that show can talk a decent amount about PlayStation 5 plans and games and whatnot. In my opinion, PS5 will be revealed at some event somehow before GDC. I think a couple months before E3, and then you really have everything playable and ready to go at E3 is the way to go. Is February 12th the date? Is February in general the month? Could be. I really wonder if Sony's going to do a state of play again, just a big state of play, or if they're going to have a massive PlayStation Experience type event, but only for press. If they're going to invite just select press to a small little event, are they going to do another Wired article? I feel like a reveal obviously needs public eyeballs. So you're going to do a live stream of some sort. It just depends if that live stream is going to be attended by press and media, or if that live stream is just going to strictly be a state of play. And at this point, I'm kind of leaning towards them doing a state of play to put it out. Microsoft did theirs at the Game Awards, so the parallel move would be a state of play. You get to control the messaging completely. It's all about PlayStation. You can reveal some games, reveal some specs. The only thing that's interesting is so far, state of plays have been narrated by an omniscient voice. They haven't had the Nintendo thing where you have a person on screen, and I feel like Sony would want to do what Nintendo does, and obviously what Phil Spencer does for Xbox in terms of get on there and say, let me explain, let me show you, make it a big reveal. To have the female voice just saying, guess what? Something big's coming in 2020. It's our next console. Take a look. That would be a little odd to me. Not out of the realm of possibility, but a little bit odd. So I think that they do an expanded state of play. But then that makes me think maybe they do an event, because I don't know if Sony wants to do some awkward thing like Nintendo where the executive is just standing there with a white background talking to us. Okay, I'm changing mid-video, I'm changing my opinion. I think they do an event. I think Sony likes that kind of stuff. Even with their distaste for E3, remember how much of a spectacle they put on with The Last of Us 2 reveal and Ghost of Tsushima reveal? That was like a crazy big deal. I think they do an event. Maybe they also stream it as a quote state of play, but there's also a stage there. I don't know. Maybe it's timed. It's called a state of play. It's streamed as a state of play, but it's also live with the in-studio press and media. I don't know if they get hands-on or they just get to see it and hear about details and then get to play things eventually at E3. Let's talk about the games themselves. there's been some rumors about really cool launch games for PS5. You know, on one hand, you could say, oh, launch titles traditionally stink. They're traditionally not that great. They don't want to blow their big properties. But last time Sony did do a little bit of that with Killzone. Now, Shadowfall is not a great game at all, but they did use a pretty substantial property. I've heard rumored multiple times Horizon Zero Dawn is a launch title for PlayStation 5. You gotta remember that Halo Infinite is a launch title for Xbox Series X as far as we know, and Sony needs a heavy hitter to combat that. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is not necessarily the same audience as Halo Infinite, and I'm sure that Call of Duty, they'll do something with them, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Sony throw out a heavy hitter, a Game of the Year type candidate to launch the system. Elsewhere, though, do they have enough software and do they have enough that they want to put out there, or do they want to take, hey, we've got big games launching this year in Final Fantasy VII Remake, in Last of Us 2, in Ghost of Tsushima, and we want to just pump those up, blow them to a bit bigger and better than they were before, and re-release them. I am absolutely 100% on this side, personally, that I do not want that at all. I do not care about a little bit of better performance and a little bit of a better resolution for another $60. Now, if they perhaps do a free download, or if they do a $5, $10 upgrade, okay, maybe I'll be on board. But as someone who doesn't really replay games, I know I will definitely poop sock Last of Us 2, get through it. Probably Ghost of Tsushima will win me over and I'll do the same. I don't want to just double down and go through it again in November. Plus, for every game that they release in that way, they're taking away a slot from a new game that potentially could be fun and provide another experience in 2020. How many people who buy PS5 at launch for the $500, $600 that it costs are going to sit out Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima for 6 months in order to wait for the PS5 version that isn't even guaranteed? I don't think very many. Last of Us 2 isn't the type of game that you wait for. That is a generational type experience, and everyone will want to play it at the beginning. Now, if you say, well, maybe you don't have a PlayStation 4 and you can't play Last of Us 2, how many of those people are there that are going to be there day one waiting in line to drop $500? I don't think very many. So I really hope that these people that are talking about, half the launch lineup or something like that being just better enhanced versions of 2020 games, I hope they're super wrong. You know, you do have huge multi-platform titles like Cyberpunk and Avengers releasing the first half of the year. Do we really need those to be redone again with slight improvements on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X? I sure hope not. I think that'd be a waste, and I think it's not going to work out as well as it may seem. People are very fickle. Gamers are very smart, and nobody wants to double dip. So unless they come up with some great freebie upgrade program and also have it out there just to fill store shelves and be able to throw Ellie on the cover of a PlayStation 5 game for the holidays, then okay. But I hope that they don't even need to do that. Maybe with one or two, but I hope they don't need to do that. It's one thing to release a game across 2 consoles, how they did with Breath of the Wild, right? How Nintendo's done that. It's another thing to say, hey, it's been a couple months, let's re-put this game out and count it as one of our launch titles. They should have big enough stuff. Halo Infinite is a massive game. Horizon Zero Dawn 2, if that's to be the case, is a massive game. I mean, hey, we can bring back Killzone. I'll take Killzone 4 or 5, however they want to call it. Guerrilla has done insane stuff, and that engine is ridiculous. But I would much rather see them invest in new experiences, third-party experiences, rather than just re-releases. So we're going to get news about the PS5 soon. It's almost inevitable, and I think it's almost got to be before E3. I would be shocked if they waited until June. I don't think it'll happen. Let me know your take in the comments down below. Does a backwards compatibility funhouse really excite you? I think it'll have backwards compatibility. I just don't know if Hip Hop Gamer actually has legit info. February for the PlayStation reveal? It could be. Could also be March, maybe even April, but I figure they do a live stream of a physical event in February or March. Just not sure if Marcus actually has info or he's basing it on this rumor from last year. And then in terms of those launch games, give us some new stuff. I'm going to keep giving you guys new stuff as the year progresses. Can't believe it's 2020, 10 years ago, Robo. So glad and proud and lucky to have you on board. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give me your take. Hit that like button if you're excited for next gen. And until next time, drink so much, all it. Thanks a lot. We'll see you all later.